The notion that pro wrestling training is a finite process is a mistaken notion. No one graduates from pro wrestling training, and I'm going to tell you why next. I'm Mike Quackenbush, and this is Till We Make It. I've been working in pro wrestling for over 30 years now. I have worked in front of the cameras as a pro wrestler, referee, ring announcer, and commentator, but I've also had ample opportunity to work behind the scenes in wrestling as a promoter, booker, agent, coach, consultant, and a whole bunch of other jobs too. And I bring the sum total of all these experiences from all these years and all these jobs, and I serve it right up to you on Till We Make It. If you're down with that, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and join the Till We Make It tribe. Subscribe down below right now. And thanks for doing that. In today's video, I want to persuade you to see my point of view, and I believe no one graduates from pro wrestling training ever. And even as I'm saying that, I do know there are training centers, there are pro wrestling schools out there that provide graduation ceremonies to their trainees. They print out some kind of document that says, "You're done," and hand it to them. And I am against all of that. I have no problem with evaluating talent to see how they have improved or how they have regressed, or offering trainees a sense of accomplishment. But anything that implies, anything that could convey to them a sense that training is a finite process which ends, I am firmly against. There are three distinctly different, although each is compelling in its own way, reasons why I believe no one graduates from pro wrestling training. And if you're a working pro out there right now who believes that their days training are behind them, I hope by the end of this video I have persuaded you to the contrary. Up first on my list, I believe the moment you think you are done training, that you stop participating in the training environment, you have consigned yourself to being obsolete. You are already outmoded. Here's what I mean. Pro wrestling is such a dynamic art form. It is constantly changing and morphing and evolving, more so now in the fourth era of wrestling, the social media era, than ever before. Wrestling evolves at an incredibly fast pace. And just to give you a sense of the scope of that, chances are this upcoming weekend, at least one new wrestling move that's never been seen on planet Earth before will be invented. And there is so much pro wrestling being made in any 7-day period on Earth, no human being could watch it all. There aren't enough hours in the day. You could never see it all, even if it was available to you. It's impossible. With this much wrestling being made in an era where evolution happens so quickly, the moment you decide you are no longer training, I believe you have consigned yourself to being obsolete. You just made yourself a dinosaur. Wrestling is moving on, and it's moving on without you. If you are passionate, like I am, when it comes to learning about, living and loving the pro wrestling lifestyle, please consider coming to join us over on Patreon. Not only does it support the work I'm doing here with Till We Make It, but when you join, you'll get access to our private Discord so you can network with other working pros and promoters from around the world, but you'll get an extra Till We Make It every Monday morning, something that is never seen here on my YouTube channel. You'll also get my advice for pro wrestlers, Tidbit Tuesday, every single Tuesday at 2:22 p.m. And there's tons of other bonuses and exclusives waiting for you to unlock. Memberships begin for as little as $5 a month, or whatever the equivalent in your local currency is. Go ahead and jump on the link. It's down below in the descriptus. Here's my second reason. The moment that you stop training, you stop honing your skills, sharpening your in-ring talents, you begin to dull. And that process of becoming dull by no longer sharpening your skills in the ring is a path to mediocrity when you perform. In addition to which, As your skills, your in-ring instincts become duller and duller over time, the likelihood of an accident occurring in the ring heightens. That could mean an injury to your opponent, an injury to you. Pro wrestling training never ends. It is a constant on your journey throughout professional wrestling. This next one is really powerful, so listen carefully. Removing yourself from the training environment means that you will be the last to discover emerging trends in wrestling. Here's why this is so important. If, just as an example, your finishing move for the last 18 years has been the DDT, but suddenly everyone in wrestling is doing the same version of the DDT that you've been doing, you're not likely to spot that. By the time any trend makes it all the way up to the televised product coming out of the sports entertainment sausage companies, it's too late. We all know real change, that real evolution, it doesn't happen on Raw, it doesn't happen on Dynamite. It happens at the independent level or on the international circuit, and it's there for years before it ever trickles all the way up and makes it onto TV. You're going to discover the emerging trends by staying inside the training sphere. This will allow you to course correct. While everybody is busy zigging, it's an opportunity for you to zag. If you can't track and course correct for the emerging trends in wrestling, you're either going to just blend into the pack where no one can find you, or you're going to discover you are so far behind the trends, you've become completely irrelevant. And I'd like to add this to the conversation as well. I think your most exceptional matches are likely to be the ones against an opponent who you trust. And there is nowhere that trust is built more powerfully than in the training environment. In addition to which, it fosters a great sense of camaraderie amongst any ensemble, any roster, even if it's one that you just pop in to see here and there. Training with them a few times a month will foster that camaraderie. It will help to build trust. And if that is an element that helps you to put on your most exceptional matches, for that reason alone, it is a worthwhile venture. It is always worth your time to dig out those grungy knee pads, stuff them in your duffel bag, and head to training. It's for these reasons that I believe training is never over. And it could absolutely be said, no one ever really graduates from pro wrestling training. It's the constant that remains with you, no matter how long, how short, how weird, or how varied your career ends up being.